Michael Wolff is here to talk about I saw some interesting news about you. Melania Trump threatened to sue you. You sued her, and now what has happened?
Well, yeah. So we went into court. They threatened to sue us, and we, jujitsu'd this and sued them in New York. I mean, threatened to sue me for defamation over things I had said about her relationship. I mean, basically, all I said was that she knew Jeffrey Epstein, which we have seen in pictures, and she sued me for that because she and her husband do not, as we know, want this conversation about Jeffrey Epstein to go on. So what they do is they sue you, and everybody, and a whole string of people have been intimidated by this and have shut up. But in New York State, there are what are called anti-slap laws, because that would be a slap lawsuit. They slap the lawsuit at you, you're forced to shut up. In New York State, that's illegal. And if you use defamation suits, which you can't win because there's no basis in them, just to intimidate people, well, you can't do that. Then you can be sued. We have sued them on that basis, and preparing for this, what will be an expensive endeavor.
Yeah, I was going to say, Michael, lawsuits are really expensive to
say
litigate.
Yes, and I was been nervous about this, and like 3 days ago, I got the first legal bill, and the thing about legal bills is that you expect the worst, and it's 10 times worse than that. As of on Tuesday, election day, as that good election was unfolding, we started a GoFundMe page. And in 24 hours, we raised, how much? $500,000 to
No way,
finance this
Michael.
suit. 24 hours, $500,000 from 10,000 small amount donors.
You've raised $500,000 in 24 hours
Yep.
for funding for your lawsuit.
Yep. So we're ready. You got a war chest, you go to war.
So you're ready to go to war.
Yeah, you bet.
So, Michael, let me ask you then, if that says a lot about the sentiment of, how people are feeling about Donald Trump and MAGA
It
out
does.
there.
It
Yeah.
does.
Or even you have had access. You've written so many books about Donald Trump and the administration, et cetera. Melania Trump, is one of the characters in your book. If you've written about Donald Trump,
Yes.
were you surprised by this? Even you?
I was astonished. I mean, I thought that people would be willing to support this and would be helpful, but it's not so easy to get people to part with money. And I was prepared for this long slog, but here we are. I mean, effectively probably quite almost close to fully funded, ready to go to carry this lawsuit to wherever it goes.
We talked about, so wherever it goes, look, $500,000 that can take you a long ways, depending on how long this lawsuit drags on.
And by the way, the ticker is still going. So this continues to go. And I think what we've pledged now is that if we raise more money than we need, then we'll use this to fund other people's defenses, free speech defenses.
Amazing. You have stumbled onto something perhaps that something new in fighting the Trump legal intimidation machine.
You know
what I mean?
and I have this feeling that maybe something, that the ground is maybe, hopefully, finally starting to shift. And we've had this terrible year. And I think it caught all kinds of people, most people, completely off guard. And nobody has quite known what to do. And you kind of look to these institutions that you think will defend what's supposed to be defended, and they have been afraid, cowering. So I think now at this moment, it's people saying, okay, we got to do it ourselves.
Well, a couple of things that I want to mention here. So hold the thought about the ground is shifting. Um, you mentioned, you said your goal. What is your goal?
Well, I mean, the goal is to win this lawsuit and to, but I think along the way, use the subpoena power that this lawsuit gives us to really find out what happened with Donald Trump, Melania Trump, Jeffrey Epstein. That
Got it.
is the specific place we are going.
I thought you had a financial goal that you wanted to reach from the GoFundMe. Is what like
No,
I'm
no.
hearing you
I
saying.
mean, the financial goal. I think, as you know, that one of these lawsuits is expensive. So I think our goal is $750,000, but
Hmm.
which I think we will reach. Um, and I'm not sure exactly how these GoFundMe things work. Maybe people can continue to contribute, and we will use that money in a broader on a broader plan to defend free speech against the Trumps.
The other thing you mentioned is you said institutions, being intimidated. And one is I watch and have so much frustration. I can't watch that much. Is the corporate media, the mainstream media. It's just I don't know what's going on. And there's such a consolidation of these big media, giant media
Yeah.
companies owning all of the media.
No, well, there's that problem that media companies that own news divisions have more important fish to fry than the news.
Hmm.
So um, therefore they're not going to jeopardize their broad business plans for the sake of these small and usually not too profitable news divisions. I mean, even the other day, that 60 Minutes, in 60 Minutes was sued by Donald Trump. CBS, which is the parent of 60 Minutes, then settled with Donald Trump, essentially capitulated, and the suit against the Trump suit was entirely frivolous, specious. They would have lost that suit. But CBS wanted to merge with another company. They'll need the government's approval. They needed the government's approval. They've gotten it. And they settled, and that was taken care of, but at the expense of the news division. And just the other day, 60 Minutes did an interview with Donald Trump. And I suspect that part of the settlement was, you'll do an interview with me and it will be a gentle interview. And it was an incredibly gentle interview. I mean, Trump said the most ridiculous things, as usual, with no follow up, just 60 Minutes sitting there in a docile mood.
Do you remember what the original suit was that he got the money for? It was for, they said, editing an interview with Kamala Harris. They
Yeah, it
actually
didn't even
edited out a
involve him.
part,
Yes,
but they
yes.
edited out a part this time and put the original, online, and the edited part went on television, which is the exact same
Totally,
thing they did with Kamala
totally,
Harris's interview.
totally. I mean,
Yeah.
it cannot be more shocking. So, I don't know. We clearly can't rely on them.
Yeah.
So, so I think this, starts to feel like an alternative. Other people have to take this in our own hands. There is clearly support for this, really
Yeah.
support. I mean,
Yeah.
on the part of thousands and thousands and thousands of people willing to put up their own money. Let's fight this.
So,
Fuck this.
and then the other thing that you mentioned was the ground shifting. Now, we were having a meeting, my team, and we were wondering, seeing all the fallout from the election, being able to raise so much money, and other things that we're seeing. You have Marjorie Taylor Greene defecting, you have other Republicans defecting. Is MAGA, like, is it, I don't know if it's over. Is it over? Is it crumbling? Is it, I don't
Well,
know.
I mean, I think that there are a lot of forces at play here. I mean, one of the things that's going on within MAGA is a competition to succeed Donald Trump. Who leads
Correct.
MAGA? Donald Trump will shortly, even though he's talking about a third term, that's really just a distraction at this point, from the fact that he's going to be a lame duck president. And then it's a fight. Is it J.D. Vance? Is it a MAGA person? And the MAGA, there's part of MAGA that is going further right than even Trump, and which means further right than J.D. Vance. Vance can only go so far. I mean, he can apparently throw his wife under the bus as he did last week, but he can't throw Donald Trump under the bus.
Mm-hmm. But is there a successor to Donald Trump? Because I think when Donald Trump's
No,
over, I
no.
think
I mean,
MAGA's over.
there is not. I mean, I think Donald Trump leaves this stage, MAGA collapses, the Republican Party collapses, and it becomes a major existential question. But there will be a nominee in 2028 who will not be, at least in all probability, will not be Donald Trump, and this is going to be fought to the bitter end.
Yeah, I feel the same way about that. As is there a successor to Charlie Kirk? And everyone keeps vying for that, and it doesn't stick. Even JD Vance possibly, but the same thing about Donald Trump. I think once Donald Trump is out of office, and or the other alternative, or both, MAGA is over. It goes the way
No,
of
and
the
that's
Tea
yeah,
Party.
and that's one of the election things. I think that we've seen again and again and again. Donald Trump remains inexplicably and preternaturally popular, but anybody else who tries to be Donald Trump falls on his face.
So, Michael, let's get back to the lawsuit. So then, where are we with this? Have you been trading, briefs, and are you,
No,
jockeying
I
back
mean
and forth in court? What's going on?
we're just in the initial phases of this. So they have actually, I can't remember, I think maybe they even have 90 days. This lawsuit is only 2 weeks old, so they have 90 days to respond. But we will then start to subpoena all of the principals in this. Anyone who knows anything about the relationship of Donald, Melania, and Jeffrey Epstein will be compelled to testify. I mean, I think it's a real opportunity to get to the bottom of this story. I'm not sure anything else will force their hand, but I think this
Mhm.
very well might.
What do you want to ask? So you said anyone involved, which would mean Melania, which would mean Donald Trump. What would you like to ask them?
Well, I mean, I think the questions and the damning questions is what were they doing through the 1990s, and what were they doing? I mean, Epstein and Trump were obsessed with models. That was a major part of their life. Supermodels, runway models, catalog models, girls just who dreamed of being models. And they wanted them for status. They wanted them for business. Remember, they both had invested in modeling agencies. Trump had beauty pageants. Epstein was involved with Victoria's Secret, and then they both had obviously a sexual agenda. I mean, a lot of some of the people I talked to in the White House, and I still, after writing 4 books and after doing this for 10 years, well, I mean, I have become rather friendly with a lot of people around Donald Trump, believe it or not. And but they've said, as I've talked about this, and they said, well, you don't mean that Trump liked little girls. And to that, I have said what I mean, and what is the case, the truth, is that he liked models. How old are models? That's very elastic.
Yeah. Are you putting? I mean, are they putting the Epstein files in play, or are you putting them in play because I would imagine you would have the power to subpoena the files because the information you would need is in those files.
Yes, that's a curious point, and I think it's unclear, but that's certainly we will try to go down that road, and now at the moment seem to have the resources to do that.
Michael Wolff, once again with a blockbuster. Thank you, Michael.
Speak to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a show. We're live every weekday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time with new clips dropping at 2 p. and 8 p. And if you want even more Don Lemon Show content, join the Lemon community. Members get exclusive posts, behind-the-scenes videos, and live chats just for you. So hit the join button or visit our channel page to sign up. Thanks again for all your love and your support, and I'll see you next time.